Well, first of all, I'll say fashion. It's a passion. It's a gift. Ever since I was a child, I was more interested in fashion. And my mom, my late mom, she was observing me. The way I was more closer to my sister to see what she was doing. But my sister, she was not really, ready to show me how to do the work. But my mom, seeing every single time me, being close to my sister, observing like what she's doing, she started training me, teaching me how to do sewing. Whenever my sister will be out, my mom will call me and give me, some like piece of fabric to do the hemming for her. Or if she has any alteration, she will give it to me to do it. So as I was doing it, I get, used to sew, right? To sew, those small pieces, but it was not like a complete garment. It happened one day, my elder sister, she was very busy because in Africa, it's like, as a woman, you need to be able to be taking care of the house, cooking, doing the laundry, doing everything, especially if it's your day, you have to do it. And it happened that day was my sister's day to do all the work, and cleaning and stuff. So she was super busy. She didn't know what to do. And on the other side, she had a lot of orders to deliver. And she was in the middle of like a busy time. And my mom said to her, okay, I can see you are so busy. Why don't you call this boy and show him how you do this work? He can, at least they put, the seam together for you. And you can, come and complete your garment. But she was like, no, mom, he doesn't know anything. How can I show him how to do the work? My mom was like, no, I've been teaching this boy, how to do the work. And she brought all the stuff that I did for her. She was like, look, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And my sister was like, no, I didn't do it. And she was like, well, I was the one to teach him how to do the work. And my sister was so nervous. She was like, come here, sit down here. And I sat and she started teaching me how to do the work. And she was so surprised to see the way I was sewing. She was like, do you know how to do this? My mom said, yeah. I've been telling you that I've been training this boy and he knows how to do the thing. So that's how I started. And, that was I was very young. So the first time for me to complete the garment was when I was like 8 years old. And after that, I did my primary school and I went to do my high school in fashion. Because in Congo, they can prepare you in the fashion industry since you're in the high school, So I did my high school in fashion. And after that, I went to university, to pursue my studies. And from there, I moved to South Africa. So in South Africa, I pursued my studies in fashion apparel. I worked with, different designers. Let me not say top designers, many designers. And after that, I launched my own business in South Africa. So in 2013, I moved to straight to Seattle. So yeah, here I am today.
One of the things that I have noticed in a lot of these talks that I've been having, especially with people getting started, not just in fashion, but in art in general. And so much of what we absorb early in life really starts to plant seeds. And a lot of those things sort of come out in the expressions that we have, or the reactions to the things that we grew up with earlier in life. You see that in the art, and you see that in the fashion. And what's interesting to me is your expressions of fashion are so bright and they're so vibrant, and they're almost always organic. They're these expressions of floral designs and these just this celebration and joy. And I'm curious how much of that, how much of that is in juxtaposition to sort of the backdrop of some of the strife and the politics that you might have grown up with at the time?
Well, I would say, there were so many things happening in Africa, which I cannot mention all of them. But, there used to be, I'm not going to call it a war, but I'm going to call it like, there's a lot of corruption, if I have to be honest. And there is a lot of injustice. It's all about who you know. Sometimes, somebody can commit a crime or kill somebody, but since, somebody in the government or maybe, is let's say like a governor's child, or they just have a connection in the government, the person will not be punished. So it's all about who you know. So if like you are from a poor family, sometimes justice will not be in your favor. It will be in the favor of those who are who are somebody in the society. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of injustice and there is a lot of corruption, and many people are so selfish. And not only that, the population suffered a lot, because talking about mineral resources, the country is really rich. The country is really rich when it comes to mineral resources. But when you see people's life, it's really miserable. It's either you are rich or you are poor. There is no really like middle class in the country, and life was not that easy, because I was not born in a very rich family. My dad was not rich, but at least we used to have food in the table, right? So he was providing for us. My mom was providing for us. So I didn't really suffer a lot in my life as I was growing as a child. But there were like some political things happening in my family, that affected my family a little bit, which I'm not gonna mention. But that pushed me to be out of the country. So, but the situation in the country was not good. And up to now, it's getting a little better, but it's not really safe. And especially for art, for me as an artist, I had a big dream of my life. But seeing what was going on around my country, I was like, my dream was kind of buried, But I was like, if I can move out of the country, maybe, I can live my dream, and which is happening today. So based on the situation happening in the country, if I was going to be staying in the country, I don't know what I was going to be. I mean, I don't know who I was going to be. So, the situation, we also have like so many talents in people in the country, but they cannot live their dream. Why? Because of the condition. Government does not care about people. Government does not care about young talents, because we have so many people who are in film industry, who are in the movie industry, in the fashion industry. They are struggling. They are just doing their own effort. I mean, they're trying to make their own effort to make it happen. But there is no any support or any financial support from the government for young talents. There is no. So it's really tough. It was tough for me, but thank God I was out of the country, and here I am today. Yeah.
That's really amazing. And if you had to sort of looking back, what were sort of the opportunities that you had that allowed you to break through those barriers that were against you, which perhaps in Congo itself, and then in South Africa, where you got a college education and then furthered your education in fashion and apparel design. What were those specific steps that you were able to take that helped you find a pathway forward?
All right. If I have to talk about the steps I used, to break that, I think I will say, first of all, it's it's a personal decision of life, if I have to make it that way. Based on what I've seen, based on what I went through, I was like, you know what? Situation or circumstance cannot limit me, cannot stop me to be who I am. I was like, you know what? I know things are very tough, but I have to work hard. I have to push. I have to take opportunity of every single occasion or exposure I get in this industry to use it to get me where I want to go. So I was very determined. I was very positive. By nature, I'm very positive. I don't really give up. I'm like, whatever, anything that is happening in like around me, whether it's positive or negative, I'm gonna turn it into a positive thing that can help me to move forward. I was like, okay, I know, because I came in Congo and I was speaking only French. I was speaking French, and when I went to South Africa, I was like, I don't speak the language, but I need to learn, because the first barrier was the language. But I was like, since I was very positive, with the decision I made in my life, I was like, I have to be somebody. I have to do this, 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 this. But I was like, the first thing I have to do is I need to learn the language. And I went to school to learn the language, to learn English. And after that, I went to school. Blah, blah, blah. So that was the first thing, the breakthrough. I can call the first one, because I was able to communicate with people. And in the beginning also, since I was in a new country as a foreigner, you have to get your paper, like your immigration paper done. You have to provide for yourself, pay the rent, do this, all those things. It was not easy. But I was like, there was a time I stopped too. Even when I was in South Africa, there was a time I stopped too. But nobody knew, because, I was like, there is something we say in my country. A crocodile, when it cries, you cannot see the tears of the crocodile, because it's in the water. You cannot see tears. So meaning, like, even if like things are going, in an opposite way in my life that I wasn't expecting, but nobody has the right to see tears as I'm crying. I have to be strong. I have to be tough and go through it. And even when I was in South Africa to go to school, I was providing for of course, my family. They were sending me some money as well to support. But I was like, I don't need to depend on my family. I need first to depend on myself, because it can happen today. My dad, my mom, or my siblings, they may not be around me, but I need to be able to survive. So I worked hard, and I worked, with some other companies in South Africa, because as I was really sewing from home, and when I went to South Africa, I tried to find a job. And I've learned a lot from the company I used to work. When I went to that company, I was working as a sample maker. I was just making sample, not simple, sample makers. I was making samples for the company. And I was studying and working at the same time. It was very, what can I say? It was very hard. It was a very exhausting, because you have to go to work, and you have to study. You have to make money to pay the school, so you have to pay the rents. It was really, really tough. But thank God, my boss, my manager, I can call him boss or CEO. He saw that I was so talented. He decided to promote me, to make me become an assistant manager in the store, in the company. That's how I started to make more money. And then that allowed me to pay for my school and go and pay for my rent. And in the meantime, I was also running my small business from home, because that was bringing even extra income to me. So that's how I started learning more about fashion, and I've learned a lot from my previous boss, because they were like partners. I saw the way they were running their business and stuff. It brings a lot of motivation in my life. So that's why I was like, what? If they can make it, I can also make it. That's how I'm in the industry. I'm here today.
Well, that's amazing. And one of the things I've always appreciated about you is you're just so positive. Like, just even being around you, you're just soaking in all this joy. It's just you're one of the most resilient people I've ever met. Like, just being around you, I'm like, dang, I feel really good right now. So it's and it's really cool to hear, some of that sort of your personality. It's sort of built in you, and a lot of that's just grit. It's just toughing it out and doing the hard work, and trusting that good things are going to work out. And so kind of moving to Seattle. So you came over to Seattle, and I think I first met you a few years ago. I don't remember exactly when we first met, but you started your clothing line, I think when you were in Africa, right? Or did you actually start it in Seattle?
The clothing line. I
Yes,
started.
sure.
No, I started when I was in Africa, in South Africa.
Okay, okay. And then you brought it over here to the Seattle area.
Right.
What were some of the
So
bigger?
if I have to make it this way, I've been working with my sister, but when I was back home, I was sewing. There was a time my sister flew to Angola, and I took over the business. So I can say like I started running my own business since I was back home, because when my sister flew to Angola, I took over. And when I left the country, I went to South Africa. I worked for a company. After working, I worked for the company for 4 years. And after that, I was able to, start my own business as well. So as I was working for the company, I was also running my own business. And when I left that company, I just focused completely on my business until I moved to Seattle. Yeah.
So over in Seattle, you were able to really focus on just your business now. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, when I came to Seattle, I first worked with this lady called Luli Yang Couture. I don't know if you know Luli Yang. She's in downtown Seattle. She's on 4th and University. That was my first job in USA. Because when I came straight to Seattle, things were not so easy. Because I tried to ask people to tell me more about the fashion industry in Seattle. But people were like, oh, no, you know what? Seattle, it's not really a fashion city. You need to go to New York. You need to go to California, if you want to, have your business like run well. And I flew to New York, I flew to California, but I was not so convinced. I didn't really feel it. And I was like, why do we all have to go to LA? Why do we have all to go to New York? Because to be honest, New York and LA, those cities are very competitive. There are so many designers, it's very competitive. And I'm like, okay, I came from the third world country. So it's not really easy to start competing, like that. So I have to find a platform where I can build myself and see how far I can go. That's why I was like, no. Let me stay in Seattle. Let me stay in Seattle, do what I have to do, because what I got to go to New York, of course, because when I flew even to New York, when I'm talking about competition, it's in a good way, But one thing I was a little upset was I saw some of the young professionals who don't really have enough skills, but they just want to be in the business. So, being in that kind of environment, sometimes it's hard, because even if you have have good skills, and there are many people who don't really have skills, since you all are together, there will be a lot of confusion for people to discover who you really are. Yes, they will, but it's going to take a lot of time for people to discover, because there is a lot of, I'm not going to call them fake, just to be more respectful, but those who don't really have enough skills. So I was like, no, I think in Seattle, let me just stay in Seattle, since I did not really feel those places, and see how things will go in Seattle. Let me just establish my business in Seattle. So that's why I was here in Seattle. But talking about the place I worked before, I worked for Luli and Couture. That was my first job. And after that, I moved to Nordstrom to work as a tailor feeder, master tailor and feeder at Nordstrom. And, I was still running my business from home. Because when I came, I was only sewing for my community, to be honest. For those who knew me, they'll come to me, and I would just make stuff for them. But my dream was like, okay, my dream is not to make stuff only for Congolese. My dream is to make stuff for everybody to wear. And you can even see when I had my debut fashion show, I used more print fabric. My debut was, I used more print fabric. And I was like trying to observe how people will react when it comes to the print color. So I saw people were like, oh, this is nice. This is lovely. But those who only approached me for purchasing my stuff were only African. But I was like, this is not my dream. Because I love everybody. I love all ethnicity, I'm like, no, I can still keep the color, but I need to bring like a modern style into it, so everybody can have opportunity to wear my stuff. So this is how I do my thing up to today.
I think that's great. And, I'm curious, how would you, based on what you just said, how would you characterize the people that you would ideally want to design for? And this is maybe sort of a two-part question that might be built on a foundation of, how do you see Seattle fashion or Seattle style now? And sort of what unique voice do you want to add to that conversation with your brand?
All right. So what I would say is when I came to Seattle in the beginning, to be honest, well, I don't know, maybe based on the area where I was living, but I noticed, most of the people, they were just wearing sweaters or denim or t-shirts. They were not really super dressy. And I was like, you know what? I think we have a lot of work. And it's not also, their fault. Because it's how, people grew up and, all those stuff. So I don't know how it started, but it's something I found. And I was like, you know what? I think I have something to do in this community. I have something to bring in the community. Because when it came, I found, Seattle, people were using just gray, black, and blue. And I was like, the city, especially during the winter time, the city looks already dark. How would we wear dark colors again, in the sad, climate, sad, sad temperature? I'm like, no, we need to bring more, vibrant color. At least, even if the climate is dark, but at least when you stand from far, somebody can say, "Oh, that's Gustavo." So that's why I was like, okay, let me at least bring something, and not only that, try slowly but surely to help my community to understand that you need to look elegant, you need to look good even though you don't go to work, because being looking nice, it has to be like our daily routine or daily job, that you have to be dressing up nicely every single day. Because what I've noticed was many people, when they go to work, they just have like t-shirt, especially people who work for iTech. They just have like t-shirt and pants, right? Denim pants and sneaker. And when you talk to them about fashion, they're like, oh, I just spend more time in the office. Why do you have to wear nice? I'm like, no, you can be working in the office, but looking good. Because your dress code is a language. It's a language to show who you are. Sometimes you can go to a place, you don't even open your mouth, but the way they see you dressing up, somebody just respects you. But when you have like something like, oh, maybe like t-shirt, maybe the neck is like pulled already, and you go to a place, somebody like, who is this guy? Sometimes they're not going to give you the value that you expect because of your dress code. And I even say to other people, if you're going to go meet like president, you're not going to wear like short or whatever. You're going to be dressing up nicely. Why do you have to dress up nicely? Because you know that you are going to a place where you have to be dressing up nicely. So you can make it as a daily thing for you, looking nicely every single day. Even when you go to work, when you dress up nicely, somebody can, maybe your boss can say, wow, this always, dog looks always clean. They can give you promotion only because of your dress code. And I know some people, they got business just because of their dress code. They just dress nicely, and easily people trust them. When you dress up nicely versus someone who do not dress nicely, there is a difference. You will see like the one who dressed so nicely or presentable, he will be more respected. But the one who dressed just anyhow, of course they will respect him, but not as much as the one who's well dresses. So I think dressing nicely, it's very important. That's why I was like, you know what? Let me at least bring something. Of course, I'm not going to change everything up. I'm not going to change, but I'm trying to help, to bring as much as I can. But slowly and surely, people are getting to see it, and some people are already getting to change their way of dressing up, which is great. And I'm happy about that.
Well, and I really like how you said earlier. I mean, it's a lot of the way that we dress is not just what we're trying to project out to the world, but it's how we see ourselves. And when we have the self-respect
Mhm,
and when we want to project that outward,
mhm,
it does open up opportunities. And rightly or wrongly, how we
mhm.
dress definitely says quite a lot about who we are and how we see
Yep.
ourselves and how we want other people to interact with us.
Right.
And
Yeah.
especially when you adorn yourself in something so vibrant and joyful, you can't help but be met with vibrance and joy.
Yeah.
It's a reciprocal thing. It comes back to
Yeah.
us. Well, I did want to ask about. We're getting just a bit short on time, and I'm so sorry. I do want to respect your time.
That's right.
Um, how have the last couple of months been for you?
Well, I would say, first of all, this pandemic outbreak was a shock. Because we used to see that in China, and after that we see that in Europe and stuff. So we were not really. I mean, we were not really expecting to have this number of infected people in the USA. And it happened like, I had a lot of people who already placed their orders for their weddings. And when the lockdown happened, so there was nothing I was gonna do. I was just home, and I was even doing my, what do you call this? Workout sometimes, because I was afraid to gain weight, and I was afraid to interact with people because nobody knew what was gonna happen. But in the meantime, I was doing some other stuff that I was supposed to do before, and I had a lot of feelings that I was supposed to be doing, and I was supposed to be buying stuff for my customers. Everything was like stopped. And then, you know, uh, I see, people start making masks, you know, excuse me. And some people try to call me, oh, Gustavo, people are making masks. Why don't you make a mask? You can make masks. And so I said, it's good to make a mask to help the community. But what was shocking to me was, for me was, those who were infected in hospitals are our friends and family. I was like, since they are quarantining them, they just put them aside from us, away from us. So sometimes they feel like they're isolated. They feel like they are alone. But I don't know, because my dad passed away in January of this year. So I spent a lot of money for his funeral. He passed away on the 17th of January, and we buried him on the 1st of February. And in Africa, when somebody's dead, we spend a lot of money for the funeral. And I already spent a lot of money for my dad's funeral. And in February, I was trying to catch up a little bit. And in March, because I work for Nostrum, in March, so the store was completely closed. Temporarily closed. So I can say, financially, I didn't have like a lot in my hands. But I say, what? I think I need to do something for the community, at least to do something. I knew I can make masks and make money. I knew that. But I was like, no, I have to do something for the community first, to show these people that we can fight this together. We are together. So I ordered 800 surgical masks. And out of the 800, I donate 750 to the hospitals. And then the 50 I gave to other people, in hands, those who didn't have, who couldn't find the mask. I just gave them, the mask. And after giving the mask, I was like, okay, now I can feel that I've done something for the community. Okay, but I can see this 800, it's not even enough. So let's at least, do something. And I started having ideas. What can I do? Because I used to see so many masks, masks from designers, and they were all beautiful. And one day, I was, because I followed Ciara, Russell Wilson's wife. I followed her. Every single time she posts something, I always see that. And I saw her posting one video of nurse and doctors. They're all wearing a mask and, dancing, level up, level up, level up, right? So, and after that, I was like, oh, I can see people are wearing masks, but I was like, okay, like myself, I like to look more fancy sometimes. So what can I do? I was like, let me just try to design something. And when I was designing, I started having more ideas. Because I was like, I started designing my mask in April. In April. And I was like, okay, we have all the simple mask, because I can call it simple, or no real designer's mask. You know, it's just the one piece and stuff like that. We have a lot of that. So, you know, there's nothing I can bring new, but let me just at least design something that can be different to elevate, you know, this mask thing. Let me just try to do something. Then I started working on something. Every single day I was working on something. It was taking me a lot of hours just to work on one mask, because I was trying to put all the ideas together. But the idea was already level up from Seattle, you know? And after I came with so many ideas, every single day when I'm working on that, I was getting new ideas, and I was able to learn, to design 16 different masks. And I was like, okay, let me just do something. And, you know, the idea behind that was for, you know, people who want to go, because I was thinking like, okay, level up, and, you know, after all these things, because I know the trend will go for some times, but people will be needing to go to the parties, will be needing to go to weddings. So they need to look really nice. So let me try to make something fancy that can really, you know, complement whatever people will be wearing. That's why I came up with all those ideas. And then after I did that, you know, I did a photo shoot, and you know, we put the photos on the website. And it happened one day. I was just, you know, I just have an idea. Okay, let me just make a video of me, you know, doing this sewing. And I did make a video, small video, and I post on Instagram. And it, you know, one of the TV lady, you know, that I respect and I love her a lot. She just said, okay, Gustavo, can you send me, you know, this video? And I sent the video. She asked me, okay, tomorrow are you gonna be free to go to go live with me, or not live, but to do, you know, interview through Zoom with me? I was like, oh, that's fine, and we did so. And after that, she said to me, okay, you know what? We are going to, you know, to show it on King 5 next week, Thursday. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then after, you know, that's interview air on King 5, the same night, I can tell you, my website was about to crash. More than 6,000 people searching for my website at the same time.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you. And even my website became slow. And I was supposed to call the technical guy, the guy who does all it, you know, who run my website. And I was supposed to call him to say, hey man, something is happening. Please try to do something. So I got a lot of orders, to be honest. And it kept me so busy, because I know I launched my mask on the 1st of May. Officially, when I launched it, I had a live interview with Fashion Next. And the following week, that was the time I make that video. And, you know, after that, things just boom. And I was very busy. Up to now, I'm still busy. Even up to now, I'm still very busy. So, you know, this thing, this mask kept me so busy. And I'm so grateful, because people really, you know, love my mask. And I got orders from so many places. You know, I got orders from DC, from almost from all over the USA, and even overseas. You know, that you can see me lately on my Instagram. I'm not really posting a lot because I'm so busy. I was like, I spent even days without checking my social medias. I was sleeping 4 hours or 5 hours maximum. Then I have to wake up in the morning and do the work. And I you know, thank God, I have a few people who came here to help me. You know, I have a few people that I always call whenever I'm so busy. They come to help me. And you know, they came to help me. Of course, I paid them, but it was crazy. And up to now, I'm still crazy. Like before yesterday, I started working from 4 p.m. until 8 a.m. in the morning. No, 8 a.m. in the morning. Not before that. That happened before yesterday. So yesterday, I started working from 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. this morning. So I'm busy working. Also on the other side, thank God, because like now, since so many stores are closed, some people they need alteration and stuff like that. So they contact me. So I'm just waiting, for the lockdown to be lifted. Then I will start, just running the business. And I know I also have some orders like wedding dresses and stuff like that that I need to do. I'm still working on those already. So as soon as the lockdown is lifted, I will just continue doing the business. So what I can say is, the beginning of this pandemic, it was very tough. It was not easy, but this mask kept me so busy. And after that, people start, already scheduling for the appointment already. So I'm just waiting. As soon as they open, I will start, having those people coming in for consultation or, fitting and stuff like that. So I can say, it was slow, but after that, it's picked. Like now, as I say, I can say it again, for the mask, as it's keeping me so busy. And I'm trying to see after I will finish, all the money we are raising from, I'm going to be raising from this mask. So, I'll see what I can do. Some of them I can also buy. I was planning to buy more masks to give, again, to the community. So, but I'm trying to see if they will get need to give them. If not, I can try to do something different, but still just to support the community. So this is exactly, and what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
That's very commendable, and it's been really encouraging. I've spoken with quite a lot of designers in the Pacific Northwest now, and the word that keeps coming back is, what can I do for a community? And it's really encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a strong and compassionate community. It's really amazing to be a part
Mm-hmm.
of. I do have 3 other questions I would love to ask you, and I hope we can get those in time if that's okay. But
Okay.
the first, I'll just tell you them right now and get them out of the way. But the first is I would like to talk to you about menswear specifically in the Pacific Northwest. The second question that I do have for you is really more about kind of how, how's life been for you now in sort of the midst of the protests and that are happening in downtown Seattle and all over the world in multiple different countries. And the last question I'll save for you until the end. But so the first one, I'd love to just hear about, what does menswear in the Pacific Northwest look like to you, and what is the future?
Well, I can see for menswear, there was a lot of improvements in the menswear because back in the days, men were not so fashionable. But these days, we see a lot of creativity in the men's stuff. So we have, because before I can see it was too boring, no details. But now you can see lately, men's stuff are getting more details. And I can see men, they really, they are really into fashion now. Before it was, just women doing this, but like lately I can tell you men's are really into fashion. And men's clothing right now, it's growing. And I can tell you that, the truth is, for my business, I sell more men's stuff. So because men, they want to look good now. They say, before it was only women, but lately we need to grow, we need to look good, we need to all those things. So it's really growing. And the future I see in the men's stuff, it's like, we will be and the other thing is like, oh no, let me keep this one. What I'm seeing in the future for the men's stuff is there is a lot of potential, for all the men designer to be, doing really well in the men's stuff because it's really growing. Men are more interested in fashion lately because, as you know, women's fashion is already oversaturated. Wherever you go, you find women's stuff. But for men, it's not really many people who do men's stuff, that I have to be honest. And people are really looking for something different, something unique. So they don't want to have simple stuff anymore. They now want to look something with details, with fancy. And not only that, but on top of that, they are looking to look good. And you can see all the men lately, they try to work out to look good. So men are looking for something that can fit them, nicely to make them look more elegant. Because they can put, garments can make you look different, as I say earlier on, They look something that can make them look really strong, dope, and, elegant. So that's what is happening right now. And I can see in the future, like men's clothing, it will really go really well for everybody. Yeah.
Shifting gears sort of to the to the reality of what's happening right now in Seattle. How have you been holding up? And you know, what has your experience been like during these protests?
Well, uh, first of all, I will say it's heartbreaking. That I have to be honest, because life, it's God who has given us this life. Life is so precious, you know. And I can say this planet, God has given this planet to all of us. So we really need to take good care of it, you know. We need, to love one another, if I have to make it this way, because love does not have color. Love, when you love somebody, it's easy for you to forgive that person. When you have love, for somebody, you can easily support the person. So, I think it's all about love, if I have to make it this way, and like me personally, what I can see based on what all the protest is going on. So I can say on the other hand, it's good, but on the other hand, it's bad. I'll explain. So when I'm gonna say it's good, it's because it was so shocking to see the way people were dying all the time. To see, the brutality of cops. Like me, I'm a peacemaker person. I like peace. I like to be joyful, smile on my face. When someone does something bad or you want to arrest somebody, there is no need to shoot a person, because they are well trained to see how they can arrest people, you see. But you see how people have been like killed, or not only killed, but the brutality, because if I have to stop killing, that's something, I mean, it's the same thing, but, I'm going to try to say it a different way. And let me just make it brutality, because when I'm talking about brutality, I'm including shooting or killing as well inside. I'm just putting everything together. So that brutality, to me, does not really work, because, of course, I know we have some people who are also like, they like to fight back to the police and stuff like that. I know that. But still, there's a way to arrest somebody, because life is so precious. But seeing, all the brutality on social media, cops, they just, before arresting this person, they have to beat that person. It was kind of shocking, like, because I was trying to put myself in that situation. For example, I did not do anything wrong, and cop came to me to arrest me, start beating me up. How am I going to feel? You know what I'm saying? I was trying to put in that position. So, but like someone like me, if cop comes to me, I'll say, okay, sir, I'm here, because there's justice. There's justice. So just arrest me. I can go peacefully. And if I did something wrong, if you want to punish me or anything, that's fine. But at least let me just go peacefully. I don't want to lose my life, because life is so precious. And not only me, not only me who want to lose my life, but I have a family, and my family do not want to lose me. And not only family, my community don't want to lose me. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm like, I think there's a way they can do it to arrest people. I know for George, it was because of the killing, because the guy was, I can't breathe, and the cops put the knee on his neck. So to see somebody dying like that, it was so shocking. Because as I said, I'm trying to put myself in that condition to see how it feels. I'm not going to talk about racial thing, because it's all about racial, whatever, but I'm just talking in general. Because even like, for some other ethnicity as well, I've seen cops arresting them like brutally, fighting them. So I'm like, why this have to happen? So that was the the other side. To the other side, what I'm saying it's bad, because people are breaking. You can protest without breaking or stealing. Because right now the situation, we are facing like a challenge in our economy in the country. As you know, because of this pandemic, so many people are losing their jobs. So many people are like struggling financially. So the city was planning to reopen again. For example, right now, all those stores are destroyed. So that means those people, they will not be able to open anytime sooner, until, the store will be restored. then they have to start going back to work. But staying home, it's okay, but it's affecting the economy, because going back to work, when we start producing, that's how we start going to be making more money, and the economy will be becoming so strong. But when people are staying home, even though you get unemployment, getting unemployment money from the government, yes, it's good. You're staying home, you don't do anything, but you are not helping the city or the country to grow financially. So it's like you are sucking from the government, but you're not giving to the government, because we need to grow, to pay tax, to do this, so that the government can generate more money, and that money can support the country again. You see, so for me, I'm kind of, I'm not gonna say disappointed, but I'm not really supporting the destruction of things like breaking stores, stealing stuff. I don't really support that. But to make the voice be heard about this brutality, I think there is a way the government can handle this one, and to have people to be equal and to take care of the situation, because this is, as I said, this is our world, and America, it's our country, Seattle, it's our city, so we all belong here. We all belong here. So the best way to do these things, I think, it's more love. Even cops, of course, they are doing their job. We don't say that, they should be like, oh, nice to ask, oh, even if you do something wrong, I'm not going to arrest you. No. They have to do their job. We have to respect that. But there's a way they can do it, not beating people, fighting. Because, like, when for example, you come to arrest me and you start beating me, what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to defend myself too. But if you come to me peaceful, okay, you did this, okay, let's go. I'm going to go because I know I did something wrong. Some people I know, they can be like, the way they are. But for me, okay, it's easy. Let's just go. But to see the way the brutality is going on, and it's it's not getting, I had so many friends who called me back from home. They say, Gustave, what is going on in the USA? What is happening? Are you guys okay? So for people to think like there's a war, there's a fight in the USA, because of the destruction and all those stuff. So I'm like, no, people are protesting because of this. But I think, we are good. We are good. It's a situation that is happening, but I think very soon it's going to be, solved. So yeah, I think that, that's how we have to, this is how I see that, it's in a good way and a bad way. So the voice has to be heard, so the government can fix that situation, so everybody can feel it, at home, because as they call it, United States of America, that means we have to be united. We will become more stronger when we are united. But when we are divided, we cannot stand. We cannot move forward. But on the other side, they don't need to destroy things. They need to take it easy. So I think will be my opinion in that.
Well, I 100% agree with you. And this is obviously very trying and challenging times. And what I'm finding is, so few people, myself included, really even know how to begin to have these conversations. And there's so many layer upon layer of different things that are attached. It's all this really big, almost like a rabbit hole, and you look down in it, and it's so easy to get lost. And to your point, I have friends in Haiti, and my friends in Haiti reached out, and they're like, Anthony, what's going on? Are you okay? And I was like, I had to take a step back and recognize, yeah, I'm okay. But what my friends in Haiti see is just the violence and the destruction.
Yep.
They don't
exactly.
They don't see that there's hours and hours of peaceful protest and civil disobedience that are taking place. And so that's why with, Seattle Fashion Collective, I want to be really careful with, what voice do I add to this, and how do we have this conversation that sheds a lot of light where there's just a ton of darkness and sadly misdirection. But I think that you really hit the nail on the head. And the last question that I want to ask you, and again, I'm so grateful for your time. I'll go ahead and I'll let you go after that here. But this is what I've been asking to everyone lately. And, if you had one message that you would want to give to anyone right now, and it could be about anything, 10,000 foot view, very global, or if you want to have a specific message for a couple of individuals or people in the community. I look at it this way. It sounds dark. I'm sorry, but If I knew I was going to die tomorrow, who would I want to
Mhm.
reach out to today? Or what message would I want to say if I knew that this was my last chance?
Okay. So the message I can give to people, it will be just to love one another, to be united, and to support one another. That's what I would say. To love each other, to love one another, to support one another, and to be united. That's if like I'm gonna die tomorrow, the message I have to live to people. That's what I have to tell people. To be united, to support one another, to love one another.